Gary Leon Ridgway. Gary Leon Ridgway, known as the Green River Killer, is one of the most prolific serial killers in American history. Born on February 18, 1949, in Salt Lake City, Utah, Ridgway grew up in a troubled household where his relationship with his domineering mother left deep psychological scars. These early experiences would later manifest in a twisted hatred toward women, particularly those whom he deemed vulnerable or marginalized. Ridgway began his killing spree in 1982, targeting young women, many of whom were sex workers or runaways. He would pick them up along Pacific Highway South in Washington state, drive them to secluded areas, and strangle them to death, often using ligatures. After murdering his victims, Ridgway would engage in necrophilic acts and then dispose of their bodies in the Green River or in remote wooded areas, hence his moniker. For years, Ridgway eluded capture, despite the growing number of bodies found in the Green River area. The investigation into the Green River killings was one of the most extensive in U.S. history, involving countless hours of detective work, forensic analysis, and even consultations with other notorious serial killers like Ted Bundy. However, it wasn't until 2001, nearly 2 decades after his first known murder, that Ridgway was finally arrested. Advances in DNA technology allowed investigators to link him to several victims, and Ridgway eventually confessed to killing 71 women, though he is suspected of murdering more. Ridgway's trial was a landmark moment in criminal justice. In a plea bargain to avoid the death penalty, Ridgway confessed to 48 murders, though he claimed the number was closer to 71. He led investigators to the remains of several victims who had not yet been discovered, further solidifying the extent of his horrific crimes. In 2003, Ridgway was sentenced to life imprisonment without the possibility of parole, a sentence he is currently serving in Washington State Penitentiary. The case of Gary Leon Ridgway remains one of the most chilling and complex in the annals of American crime. His ability to evade capture for so long, combined with the sheer number of his victims, has made him a figure of morbid fascination in the true crime community. The story of the Green River Killer is not just about a man who committed unspeakable acts of violence, but also about the systemic failures and challenges faced by law enforcement in bringing a serial killer to justice. Ridgway's case also underscores the vulnerabilities faced by marginalized individuals, particularly sex workers, who were often overlooked by society and whose disappearances were not always immediately investigated with the urgency they deserved. The legacy of the Green River Killer serves as a grim reminder of the dangers that can lurk in the shadows of our communities and the importance of vigilance in protecting those who are most at risk. Today, Gary Ridgway's name is etched in infamy, and the impact of his crimes continues to resonate, not just in the lives of the families he devastated, but also in the broader understanding of the psychology of serial killers and the ongoing efforts to prevent such tragedies in the future.